James Stevens sat in the glass-walled conference room on the 42nd floor, watching the city below move like blood through veins. The morning sun carved sharp angles across the polished cable, and he could see his reflection in its surface. Tired eyes, the kind that came from 60-hour weeks stretched across 18 months. His coffee had gone cold an hour ago, back when he thought this meeting was about the launch timeline, back when he still had a job. Marcus Chen, the CEO of Horizon Technologies, stood at the head of the table with his arms crossed. His tailored suit probably cost more than James's entire wardrobe. Behind him, Sandra Martinez from HR clutched a manila folder like it contained state secrets. The room smelled of expensive cologne and corporate betrayal. "I don't understand," James said, his voice steady despite the earthquake in his chest. "The Phoenix platform launches in 7 days. I built the entire back-end infrastructure." Marcus didn't even have the decency to look uncomfortable. "We're restructuring. Your position has been eliminated." Eliminated, James tasted the word. 1 week before the biggest product launch in company history? 1 week before my performance bonus? Sandra finally spoke, her voice carefully neutral. "Your final paycheck will include accrued vacation time and the $125,000 bonus. It's in my contract, tied to the Phoenix platform going live." Marcus leaned forward, and James saw something flicker in his eyes. Calculation. "The bonus clause specifies you must be an active employee at time of launch. You'll receive severance, of course, 2 weeks." The numbers crashed through James's mind like falling dominoes. 2 weeks severance versus 18 months of 80-hour weeks? 2 weeks versus the revolutionary AI-driven analytics platform he'd coded from nothing? 2 weeks versus $125,000 that would have cleared his mother's medical debt, would have given him breathing room for the first time since his father died? "This is about cost-cutting," James said quietly. "You're eliminating my bonus by eliminating me." "This is about the company's future direction." Marcus's tone had shifted to dismissive. "Your access credentials will be deactivated within the hour. Security will escort you to collect your personal items." James stood slowly. His hands didn't shake. Not yet. That would come later. The walk to his desk felt like a funeral procession. Coworkers avoided his eyes, suddenly fascinated by their monitors. Sarah Chen from the UX team looked up, her expression stricken. She'd been his closest friend here, the one who brought him coffee during late nights, who understood what this project meant. "James?" she whispered. He shook his head. "Not here. Not now." His desk was exactly as he'd left it 2 hours ago. Keyboard worn smooth at the home row keys, 3 monitors displaying code he'd written at 3 in the morning last Tuesday, a photo of his mother at college graduation. The security guard stood close, watching like he might steal the stapler. James pulled out his phone and took a picture of his screens. The guard shifted nervously. "Personal reference, for my portfolio." What they couldn't see was what he was really photographing. The deployment schedule, the server configurations, the architecture diagrams still open in his browser tabs. What they couldn't know was that James Stevens never built anything without a safety net. He packed his personal items into a cardboard box that Sandra provided. The photo of his mother, a coffee mug Sarah had given him last Christmas, a rubber duck he used for debugging. The security guards escorted him to the elevator, through the lobby where he had entered every morning for 18 months, out into the cold October air. James stood on the sidewalk, holding his box, watching people stream past. The city didn't care that his life had just been dismantled in under 20 minutes. Taxis honked. A street vendor sold pretzels. The world kept turning. He pulled out his phone and opened his encrypted messaging app. Sarah had already texted, "What happened? Everyone's in shock." James typed back, "Call me after work. Use Signal, not your work phone. Then he pulled up another app, one that didn't appear in his normal interface unless you knew the specific gesture to reveal it. It looked like a weather app, but the forecast it showed wasn't for rain or sunshine. It was for something Marcus Chen had no idea existed. The backdoor. Not a malicious one. James wasn't that kind of engineer, but a safety measure, a dead man's switch. A way to ensure that if anything ever went catastrophically wrong, if the servers melted down or a cyber attack threatened everything, there was a way to safely shut down the entire Phoenix platform in seconds. A way only James knew about. The code was elegant, buried so deep in the infrastructure that even a security audit wouldn't find it. It wasn't designed to destroy. It was designed to freeze. To put everything into a safe hibernation mode that would require the original architect to restore. James hadn't planned to use it. He'd built it as insurance, as any smart engineer would. But standing on that sidewalk, doing the math on his mother's medical bills and his rent and his empty savings account, something cold and sharp crystallized in his chest. Marcus Chen wanted to steal his bonus by technicality, wanted to profit from James's 18 months of sacrifice without paying what was owed. The Phoenix platform would launch to enterprise clients who'd already paid millions in licensing fees. Horizon's stock would soar, and James would have 2 weeks severance and a medical debt he couldn't pay. He opened Signal again and scrolled to a contact named Ghost, a hacker friend from college days who'd gone legitimate but still knew every dark corner of the cybersecurity world. Need to talk, James typed, about revenge that isn't illegal. The response came in seconds. Now I'm interested. James's apartment was a studio in Queens, the kind where you could touch both walls if you stood in the middle and stretched. Rent was $1,800 a month, which meant he'd been living on ramen and ambition for 18 months while he built Marcus Chen's empire. His laptop sat on a folding table. Coffee rings marked the surface like archaeological layers. Sarah arrived at 7, carrying Thai food and a bottle of wine that probably cost more than James's weekly grocery budget. She set both on the table and pulled him into a hug before he could protest. "I'm so sorry, this is insane. Everyone knows the platform is yours." James poured wine into mismatched glasses. Everyone except the people who sign checks. Derek in sales said they're projecting $40 million in first-year revenue. Marcus told the board Phoenix will triple our market valuation. Sarah's hands shook as she opened the food containers. And they fired you a week before launch to save your bonus. Not just save it, eliminate it. James pulled up the deployment schedule on his laptop. Look at this. 7 days to launch. 3 major clients have already signed. Goldman Sachs, Mercer Financial, Apex Consulting. Each pays between $3 and $8 million for first-year licensing. The demo is in 4 days, the one where Marcus shows it to the tech press.
The one that will make or break us. If Phoenix works perfectly, Horizon becomes the AI analytics platform. If it crashes, James trailed off, letting her imagination fill the blanks. You wouldn't. James met her eyes. Wouldn't what? I don't work there anymore. I have no access. My credentials are deactivated. But you built it. I did. Every function, every module, every line of security protocol. He pulled up a file on his screen. Lines of code that look like poetry if you understood the language, including a failsafe, a dead man's switch, something I built to protect the platform in case of a catastrophic attack. Sarah's face went pale. James, that's not sabotage, not destruction. It's a safety mechanism. He walked her through the architecture, his voice taking on the rhythm of explanation he'd used in 100 technical meetings. If I trigger it, the platform goes into hibernation mode. Everything freezes. No data loss, no corruption, no permanent damage. but it won't wake up unless someone knows exactly how to restore it. Someone meaning you. Someone meaning the person who built the back door. Sarah stood up, pacing the small space. This is crazy. You could be arrested, sued into oblivion. Marcus has lawyers who eat people like us for breakfast. Only if they can prove I did anything illegal. Which they can't, because I won't have accessed their systems. I won't have hacked anything. I'll simply activate a safety feature I built when I was their employee, using credentials that were valid when I wrote the code. James's voice was steady, but his heart hammered. The question isn't whether I can do it. The question is whether I should. Of course you shouldn't. Sarah's voice rose. James, I love you like a brother, but this is your career, your future. You're brilliant. You'll find another job, rebuild, move on. With what money? My mother needs surgery in 3 months. Real surgery, not the cheap kind. I've been saving every penny from this job for it. That bonus was supposed to cover it. He pulled up his banking app, showed her the numbers. I've got $4,300 in my checking account. Rent is due in 2 weeks. Mom's current treatment runs $1,200 a month. The surgery is $45,000, even with insurance. Sarah's anger deflated. She knew about his mother, had visited her twice when James brought her into the city, had seen the way cancer had hollowed her out, the way she smiled through pain. There has to be another way, Sarah said quietly. Name it. She couldn't. They both knew it. Ghost arrived at 9, introduced himself as Alex, and declined to give a last name. He was younger than James expected, maybe 25, with dyed blue hair and fingers that never stopped moving. He set up his own laptop within 30 seconds of entering. Show me the architecture, Alex said without preamble. James walked him through it. The Phoenix platform was beautiful in its complexity, a distributed AI system that analyzed corporate data in real time, identifying patterns, predicting trends, flagging risks. It was 3 years ahead of anything competitors had. It was, without ego, the best work James had ever done. And buried in its deployment infrastructure, hidden in a monitoring script that looked like standard error checking, was the trigger. Elegant. Really elegant. Most backdoors are obvious if you know where to look. This one? It's disguised as legitimate functionality. Because it is legitimate functionality. It's an emergency shutdown protocol. That only you know about and only you can restore. Alex grinned. I'm not judging. I'm impressed. Walk me through the trigger mechanism.
James did. The backdoor required 3 conditions to activate. First, a specific API call from outside the Horizon network. Second, a timestamp validation that confirmed the call came within a 60-second window. Third, a cryptographic signature that only James's private key could generate. So you send the signal, the platform validates it's really you, and everything freezes, Alex summarized. How fast? 3 seconds, maybe 5 if server load is high. And restoration? Requires the same private key plus a 16-character password only I know. Could take them weeks to reverse engineer, maybe months. Alex leaned back. Here's the legal angle. You built this when you were an employee. The code belongs to Horizon, but the private key is yours. It's not company property any more than your brain is company property. If you trigger it, you're using your own cryptographic credentials to activate a safety feature you designed. They'd have to prove malicious intent. Which they'd try to do, Sarah interjected. She'd been silent, listening. Marcus would destroy you. Marcus already destroyed me. He just doesn't know it yet. James closed his laptop. I'm not asking permission. I'm asking for advice. If I do this, when I do this, how do I protect myself? Alex's fingers flew across his keyboard. You need 3 things. First, document everything. Write down the entire history, why you built the backdoor, when, the legitimate safety reasons. Make it look like standard engineering practice. Second, never access their network directly. Use a VPN, randomize your location, leave no digital fingerprint. Third, have a lawyer ready. Not when they sue, before. Someone who specializes in employment law and tech. I can't afford a lawyer. You can afford not to? Alex pulled up a website. This firm does contingency work. They love David versus Goliath cases.
If Marcus fires you a week before a massive bonus to save money, that's not just unethical, it might be illegal, especially if it's a part of a pattern. James felt something shift in his chest. What pattern? Let me dig. Alex's face was illuminated by his screen, blue light turning him ghostly. Every company has skeletons. Let's find horizons. 3 days until launch. James spent them in his apartment, living on coffee and fear. Alex worked remotely, digging through public records, LinkedIn profiles, Glassdoor reviews. Sarah snuck him information from inside Horizon. Nothing illegal, just things any employee could see. Project timelines, email threads, the mood in the office. People are nervous, Sarah reported on day 2. She sat on James's fire escape, smoking a cigarette she'd bummed from his neighbor. The tech team is doing final testing. They keep running into weird latency issues, but nothing catastrophic. Derek in sales keeps asking where you are. He doesn't buy the restructuring story. What's Marcus saying? That the transition is seamless, that Phoenix is ahead of schedule, that Horizon is entering a new era. Sarah flicked ash into the alley below. He's lying. I heard him screaming at the IT team yesterday, something about server response times being inconsistent. James felt a grim satisfaction. The backdoor wasn't active yet, but its presence created subtle inefficiencies, like a weight on the system, barely noticeable, but there. He'd designed it that way, a ghost in the machine. Alex called at midnight. Found something. 3 engineers fired in the last 2 years, all within weeks of major project completions, all with substantial performance bonuses in their contracts. James set up. Names? Rebecca Park, fired 6 days before a $75,000 bonus. Restructuring. David Okonkwo, fired 2 weeks before a $50,000 bonus. Performance issues. Lisa Chen, fired...
Wait, Lisa Chen? Any relation to Sarah Chen? Sister. You didn't know? James's stomach dropped. He called Sarah immediately. Your sister worked at Horizon? Sarah's voice was tight. For 8 months. 2 years ago. She led the development of their first AI prototype, the thing that got them Series B funding. Then Marcus fired her right before her bonus was due, said her work wasn't up to standard. She was devastated, couldn't find work for 6 months because Marcus badmouthed her to everyone in the industry. Why didn't you tell me? Because you were so excited about Phoenix, so proud. I didn't want to poison it. Sarah's voice cracked. And I thought maybe Marcus had changed. Maybe that was old Marcus and new Marcus was different. But he's not, is he? No. He's exactly the same. Alex sent over documentation. Rebecca Park had sued for wrongful termination but settled out of court with an NDA. David Okonkwo had filed a complaint with the labor board that went nowhere. Lisa Chen had simply disappeared from the industry, working now as a high school teacher in Portland. This is a pattern, Alex said when James called back. Marcus Chen systematically eliminates high-value employees right before they're owed major bonuses. Saves the company money, eliminates people who might challenge his authority. Classic toxic CEO behavior. Can we use this? Legally? Maybe. Ethically? Absolutely. Alex paused. James, I'm in. Whatever you're planning, I'm in. This guy needs to go down. 2 days until launch. The tech press started publishing preview articles. Horizon Technologies poised to revolutionize AI analytics. Phoenix Platform, the future of corporate intelligence. Marcus Chen's vision comes to life. Every article praised Marcus's leadership. None mentioned James Stevens. Sarah forwarded him an internal email. Subject: Launch Day Preparation. Team, tomorrow is the culmination of 18 months of hard work. The demonstration for press and clients will begin at 10 a.m. sharp. Phoenix will showcase capabilities that will change our industry. I want to personally thank everyone who made this possible. Special recognition to the entire tech team for their dedication. This is our moment. Let's make it count. Marcus Chen. He read it 3 times. Not a single mention of him. He'd been erased. He opened his encrypted app. The weather forecast showed clear skies. The back door sat waiting, dormant, a coiled spring. All it needed was his command. His phone buzzed. His mother's number. Hey, Mom. James, sweetheart, I'm worried about you. You've been so quiet this week." He closed his eyes. She sounded tired, the kind of tired that came from fighting your own body every day. "Just busy with work stuff. How are you feeling?" "Oh, you know, good days and bad days. Dr. Warrison says my numbers are stable. We're still scheduled for surgery in December if we can figure out the costs." She tried to sound cheerful. Failed. "I hate that you're carrying this burden." "It's not a burden, Mom. You raised me alone after Dad died. You worked 3 jobs to put me through college. This is my turn." "You're a good son. I'm so proud of you." Her voice softened. "Your father would be proud too. Building important things, making a difference." After they hung up, James sat in the dark. Making a difference. Was that what he was about to do? Or was he about to commit career suicide for revenge? His laptop glowed. Alex had sent over one final piece of information: Marcus Chen's net worth. $47 million, mostly in Horizon stock. If the Phoenix launch succeeded, that number would double. If it failed? James thought about his mother teaching him to code when he was 10, showing him that computers were just logic puzzles. Thought about his father dying when James was 16, leaving them with nothing but debt and determination. Thought about 18 months of 60-hour weeks, sacrificing his 20s to build something beautiful. Thought about Marcus Chen's smug face saying, "Your position has been eliminated." He opened the encrypted app and typed a message to Alex and Sarah. "Tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. I'm doing it." Sarah responded immediately. "Are you sure?" "Alex, I've got your back." James typed, "I'm sure. They took everything. Time to take something back." One day until launch. James spent it preparing. He wrote a detailed document explaining the Backdoor's purpose: emergency system protection, standard engineering practice, built with company resources for company benefit. He wrote about a timeline of his employment. Every late night, every weekend, every innovation. He wrote about the other engineers Marcus had cheated. He contacted a lawyer Alex recommended, left a message explaining his situation, got a call back within an hour. "Mr. Stevens, this is Patricia Vance. I've reviewed the preliminary information you sent. If what you're telling me is accurate, Horizon Technologies may have engaged in a pattern of wrongful termination to avoid contractual obligations. That's serious." "Can I win?" "Win? That depends on many factors. But can I make them regret treating you this way?" "Absolutely." Her voice was steel wrapped in silk. "Here's what I need you to understand. If you take any action that could be construed as sabotage or unauthorized access, you undermine our legal position. Do you understand?" "I understand." "Good. Don't do anything stupid. Let me handle this through proper legal channels." James thanked her and hung up. He had no intention of following that advice. Launch day arrived with unseasonable warmth. James woke at 6, showered, dressed in his best suit. He wasn't going to Horizon's office. His credentials were dead. Security would throw him out. But he wanted to look professional, wanted to feel like the engineer he was, not the victim they'd tried to make him. He made coffee, checked the news. Horizon Technologies launch event today. Industry awaits Phoenix platform debut. The article included a photo of Marcus Chen looking confident and expensive. Sarah texted, "I'm in the office. Demo starts at 10. They've got clients here, press, the board of directors. Marcus is strutting around like he's Steve Jobs. Makes me sick." James, "How's the system running?" Sarah, "IT says everything's stable. They did final checks at 6 a.m. All green lights." James opened his laptop. He pulled up the weather app that wasn't a weather app. The interface showed server status pulled from public APIs that any observer could access. Horizon's Phoenix platform was running perfectly, handling test queries, processing data, humming along at optimal capacity. For now. Alex messaged on Signal, "VPN is configured. Your IP will route through 7 countries. No way to trace this back to your physical location.
You ready?
James stared at his screen. This was the moment, the point of no return. Once he triggered the backdoor, everything changed. Either he'd be vindicated or destroyed, and there wasn't much middle ground between those outcomes. He thought about Patricia Vance's warning, about Sarah's concern, about the fact that revenge, however justified, could still ruin him. Then he thought about his mother's medical bills, about 18 months of his life poured into code that Marcus Chen was about to profit from, about Rebecca Park, David Okonkwo, Lisa Chen, all the engineers Marcus had used and discarded. At 9:45 a.m., Sarah sent a photo. The Horizon Conference Center, packed with people, a massive screen showing the Phoenix logo, Marcus at the podium, grinning. Sarah, he's about to start. James opened his command terminal. The code sat waiting, elegant and simple. Trigger safety protocol, timestamp equals current UTC, signature equals private key dot sign, platform ID, mode, hibernate. His finger hovered over the enter key. 9:50 a.m., Sarah sends another update. Marcus is talking about revolutionary AI, about how Phoenix will redefine corporate analytics. The press is eating it up. 9:55 a.m. He's moving to the live demo. They're about to show Phoenix processing a real data set. James took a breath, held it, released it. 9:58 a.m. He hit enter. The code executed in silence. His screen showed a simple confirmation. Safety protocol activated. Platform entering hibernation mode in 3, 2, 1. For several seconds, nothing happened. James wondered if it had failed, if somehow Horizon's IT team had found his backdoor and neutralized it. Then Sarah's messages exploded across his screen. Oh my God, the demo just crashed. Everything froze. Marcus looks like he's going to have a stroke. IT is freaking out. They can't restart it. James, what's happening? James didn't respond. He watched through Sarah's eyes as chaos unfolded. 10:03 a.m. The press is murmuring. Marcus is trying to play it cool, says it's a minor technical issue. 10:05 a.m. IT lead just whispered something to Marcus. His face went white. 10:07 a.m. They're trying to restart servers. Nothing's working. The system won't respond to any commands. 10:10 a.m. Marcus is sweating, literally sweating. He's apologizing to clients, saying they'll reschedule. 10:12 a.m. Goldman Sachs rep just stood up and walked out. He looked pissed. 10:15 a.m. Demo is officially canceled. Press is leaving. Board members are demanding answers. This is a disaster. James sat back. His hands were steady. His heart was calm. He felt no triumph, no joy, just a cold certainty that justice, even rough justice, had been served. His phone rang. Unknown number. Mr. Stevens, this is Patricia Vance. I've been retained by someone who wishes to remain anonymous on your behalf. I'm calling to inform you that I'll be sending a formal demand letter to Horizon Technologies this afternoon outlining your wrongful termination and demanding your contractual bonus plus damages. Who retained you? As I said, they wish to remain anonymous, but they believe in your case and have paid my retainer. I'll be in touch with next steps. She hung up. James stared at his phone. Then he got another call. Alex. Did you watch the stock price? Alex was laughing. Horizon just dropped 11%. 11% in 30 minutes. Marcus Chen just lost about $5 million in paper wealth. Good. There's more. I'm monitoring their internal communications. Don't ask how.
They have no idea what happened. Their IT team is running every diagnostic they know. They think it's a cyber attack, a server failure, some kind of catastrophic bug. They don't know about your backdoor.
How long until they figure it out? Honestly, could be weeks. Your code is buried deep, and it's designed to look like legitimate functionality. Even if they find it, proving you triggered it remotely is basically impossible with the VPN routing. You're in the clear, legally speaking. James wasn't sure he felt clear. He felt hollowed out, exhausted, like he'd run a marathon through his own conscience. Sarah called at noon. James, you need to tell me the truth. Did you do this? What do you think? I think Marcus Chen deserved exactly what happened to him. I think every engineer he's screwed over would celebrate. I think... She paused. I think I'm terrified for you, and proud of you at the same time. The platform isn't destroyed, just frozen. All the data's safe, all the code is intact. They can recover it. How? They'd need the person who built it to help them do it. Sarah laughed, sharp and bright. You're a genius or an idiot. I can't decide which. Maybe both. That afternoon, tech news sites exploded. Horizon Technologies' launch fails spectacularly. Phoenix platform crashes during major demo. Marcus Chen's AI dreams go up in smoke. The articles were brutal, picking apart every detail of the failure. By evening, 2 major clients had canceled their contracts. Goldman Sachs and Mercer Financial both released statements expressing concern about platform stability. Horizon's stock closed down 18% for the day. James's phone rang again. Patricia Vance. Mr. Stevens, I sent the demand letter 2 hours ago. I've already received a response from Horizon's legal counsel. They want to meet. That was fast. They're in crisis mode. When a company this publicly embarrasses itself, they're desperate to control the narrative. I've scheduled a meeting for tomorrow morning. I strongly suggest you join me. And, Mr. Stevens, wear a suit. We're going to make them pay. The meeting took place at a law office in Midtown, neutral territory. Patricia Vance was 50-something, with silver hair and eyes like precision instruments. She wore a black suit that said, "I will dismantle you without speaking a word." James sat beside her, sweating despite the air conditioning. Across the conference table sat Marcus Chen, 2 Horizon lawyers, and a woman James didn't recognize. Sharp-featured, expensive glasses, the kind of person who got paid by the hour to fix messes. Let's be direct, Patricia began. My client was terminated 1 week before a contractual bonus of $125,000. This termination occurred immediately prior to the launch of a platform he single-handedly developed. The timing is suspicious at best, fraudulent at worst. The woman in expensive glasses leaned forward. Ms. Vance, I'm Jennifer Caldwell, outside counsel for Horizon. Mr. Stevens was terminated as part of a legitimate restructuring. The timing was coincidental. Coincidental, like the termination of Rebecca Park, David Okonkwo, Lisa Chen. Patricia slid a folder across the table. All engineers, all terminated within weeks of major bonuses, all after delivering significant value to the company. Marcus's face darkened. Those were separate situations that demonstrate a pattern of fraudulent behavior to avoid contractual obligations. Patricia's voice could cut glass. We're prepared to file a wrongful termination suit and contact every engineer Mr. Chen has terminated under similar circumstances. We'll pursue a class action if necessary. Jennifer Caldwell flipped through the folder, her expression carefully neutral. What does your client want? His contractual bonus, in full, plus damages for emotional distress and lost opportunities, plus a public acknowledgement of his contributions to the Phoenix platform. That's extortion, Marcus spat. That's negotiation, Patricia corrected. And given yesterday's very public failure of the Phoenix platform, I'd say my client has considerable leverage. The silence that followed was sharp enough to draw blood. One of Horizon's lawyers, a thin man with wire-rimmed glasses, cleared his throat. The platform failure is a separate technical issue. Is it?
Patricia smiled, because from where I'm sitting, it seems awfully convenient that the platform Mr. Stevens built worked perfectly until approximately 1 hour after his termination became final, almost as if the system required his expertise to function properly. James kept his face blank. He'd coached this with Patricia. Never admit anything, but let them draw their own conclusions. Marcus leaned back, his jaw tight. "What's your point?" "My point, Mr. Chen, is that you fired the one person who could fix your broken platform, and now you're hemorrhaging clients, stock value, and reputation. Goldman Sachs has already pulled their contract. How many more will follow?" Patricia paused. "Unless, of course, you could somehow convince Mr. Stevens to help resolve the technical issues." The trap was elegant. James watched understanding dawn on Marcus's face. Pay the bonus, acknowledge the wrong, or watch the company collapse. Jennifer Caldwell called a recess. The Horizon team huddled in the hallway for 20 minutes. When they returned, Marcus looked like he'd aged 5 years. "We'll pay the bonus," Jennifer said, "full amount, but we want a mutual NDA and a release of all claims." "And public acknowledgement," Patricia added, "a press release stating that James Stevens was the lead architect of the Phoenix platform and that his contributions were instrumental to the company's success." "Absolutely not," Marcus said. "Then we'll see you in court and in the press." Patricia stood. "Come on, James." "Wait." Jennifer raised her hand. "Give us another minute." Another huddle, more whispered arguments. Marcus looked ready to explode, but his lawyers were clearly explaining reality to him. "Fine," Jennifer finally said. "Bonus, public acknowledgement, mutual NDA. But we also want Mr. Stevens to sign a consulting agreement to help resolve the current technical issues." Patricia looked at James. This was his decision. "How much?" James asked. "Excuse me? How much does the consulting contract pay? Because my rate is $500 per hour with a minimum 50-hour engagement." Marcus actually laughed, bitter and sharp. "You're blackmailing us. I'm setting my market rate. You're free to hire someone else. I'm sure there are plenty of engineers who can reverse engineer my work and figure out what went wrong." James met Marcus's eyes. "Or you can pay someone who already knows." "This is ridiculous," Marcus said. "Mr. Chen, we need the platform working today before more clients cancel." Marcus looked at James with pure hatred, but hatred didn't pay medical bills, hatred didn't restore stock prices. "Fine, $500 per hour, 50 hours minimum." Marcus practically spit the words. Patricia pulled out a contract she'd prepared. She'd anticipated this. James signed, so did Marcus, his signature angry slashes across the page. "Pleasure doing business with you," Patricia said. In the elevator, James leaned against the wall. "Did that really just happen?" "That really just happened. You just made $125,000 plus $25,000 in consulting fees." Patricia smiled. "Plus, you established a paper trail that Marcus Chen systematically frauds employees. If he does this again, we'll bury him." "Will the Phoenix platform actually stay broken?"
That's between you and your conscience. But you have a signed consulting agreement that pays you to fix it, so you can restore the system, take their money, and walk away clean. She handed him her card. "Call me if they give you any trouble. And James, you did good." James went directly to his apartment. Sarah was waiting, sitting on his front steps with 2 beers. "You did it," she said. "Twitter's going crazy. Horizon just released a statement acknowledging your contributions. Marcus must be losing his mind." James took a beer. "He paid me. Everything I was owed plus consulting fees." "So you're going to fix the platform?" "Yeah, tomorrow. I'll walk them through the restoration process." James sat beside her. "The backdoor wasn't revenge, Sarah. It was leverage, a way to force them to see what they'd done. Still, you could have destroyed them completely." "I could have, but that wouldn't make me better than Marcus. It would just make me the same." James drank his beer, tasting victory and exhaustion in equal measure. "Besides, I'm not a destroyer. I'm a builder.
I built Phoenix to work, and it should work. His phone rang. His mother. James, I just saw the news. They mentioned you by name. Said you were instrumental in building some important platform. Sweetheart, I'm so proud. Thanks, Mom. James arrived at Horizon Technologies the next morning with a visitor's badge and a carefully neutral expression. The security guards who'd escorted him out a week ago now nodded respectfully. Word traveled fast in a company this size. Sarah met him in the lobby. The IT team is waiting. They've been trying to crack this for 36 hours straight. They look like zombies. The conference room was packed. Marcus wasn't there, couldn't face him, James assumed, but the entire technical team was present, along with Jennifer Caldwell and 2 executives James didn't recognize. Everyone looked exhausted and desperate. Mr. Stevens, Jennifer began, thank you for coming. As you know, the Phoenix platform has been unresponsive since the launch event. Our team has been unable to identify the root cause. We're hoping your expertise can help resolve this quickly. James set down his laptop. I built a safety protocol into the system, an emergency hibernation mode designed to protect against catastrophic failures or cyber attacks. It appears to have been triggered. The IT lead, a woman named Rachel, leaned forward. We found no evidence of external intrusion, no malware, no unauthorized access, nothing. The protocol doesn't require external intrusion. It can be triggered by specific system conditions. James wasn't lying. Those conditions just happened to include his private cryptographic key. I can restore it, but it requires the original architectural credentials. He walked them through the process, his fingers moving across the keyboard with practiced precision. The restoration was elegant, a reversal of the hibernation sequence. Within 20 minutes, the Phoenix platform hummed back to life, processing test queries, analyzing data, performing exactly as designed. The room erupted in relief. Rachel actually hugged her colleague. The executives looked ready to weep. That's remarkable, Jennifer said. How did you know to look there? I built it, James said simply. I know every line of code, every function, every safety measure. That's what happens when you spend 18 months living and breathing a project. Over the next 3 days, James worked with the Horizon team to verify system integrity, optimize performance, and document the restoration process. He billed every hour at his $500 rate. Marcus appeared once, said nothing, and left. The hatred in his eyes was worth more than money. On the 4th day, Patricia Vance called. Goldman Sachs is re-engaged with Horizon. The platform's working perfectly now. Marcus is holding emergency meetings to salvage the other contracts. Will they survive this? Probably. But Marcus's reputation took a permanent hit. The board is asking serious questions about his leadership. I'm hearing rumors about a vote of no confidence.
Patricia paused. You want a lot more than a bonus, James. You exposed a system that was fundamentally corrupt. That evening, James sat in his apartment with Sarah and Alex. They ordered pizza, good pizza this time, not the cheap kind. James's phone showed a bank balance that had seemed impossible 2 weeks ago. $150,000, enough to cover his mother's surgery with room to breathe. What now? Sarah asked. What do you do after you take down your boss and rebuild your own platform? James smiled. I got 3 job offers this week. Apparently saving a company from its own CEO makes you marketable. But I think, he paused, considering, I think I want to start something of my own. Build platforms that protect engineers instead of exploiting them. Make sure what happened to Rebecca and David and Lisa doesn't happen to others. That's ambitious, Alex said. You'll need funding, infrastructure, a team. I know an excellent UX designer, James said, looking at Sarah. And a security expert who knows every dark corner of the digital world, he added, nodding to Alex. Interested? Sarah grinned. Are you seriously asking me to quit Horizon and join your startup that doesn't exist yet? I'm asking if you believe in building something better. Something where people are valued for what they create, not just exploited until they're inconvenient. When you put it that way, Sarah raised her beer. I'm in. Alex clinked his bottle against hers. Same. Someone needs to keep you two ethical. 2 months later, James sat in a coffee shop in Brooklyn, his laptop open, writing code for a new platform. His mother's surgery had gone perfectly. Dr. Morrison said she'd make a full recovery. The medical bills were paid. For the first time in years, James could breathe without calculating the cost of each breath. His phone buzzed. A news alert. Marcus Chen steps down as Horizon Technologies CEO amid board restructuring. The article mentioned declining confidence, questions about leadership decisions, and a need for fresh direction. He closed the notification without reading further. Marcus Chen's story was over. His own was just beginning. Outside, Brooklyn moved with purposeful chaos. People chased dreams and paychecks, built empires and burned them down, loved and lost and tried again. James was part of that now. Not a victim, not a saboteur, just an engineer who'd learned that the systems we build, whether technical or social, reflect the values we choose to encode. He opened a new file and began to write. Not code this time, but a mission statement for the company he was building. A promise that engineers would be partners, not resources, that innovation would be rewarded, not exploited, that a backdoor should only ever be a safety measure, never a weapon, unless the people in power forgot that basic human decency wasn't a line item that could be eliminated to save costs. The cursor blinked. James smiled. And he began to build. If you've made it this far, this story took time and effort to create. Hit that like button and subscribe for more stories where the underdog fights back. What would you have done in James's position? Drop your thoughts in the comments below.